Well, so ladies and gentlemen, we do have a few minutes left, if ever. I mean, if you want to leave, please, you can. But, you know, since we have a few minutes left, we could also get into a few questions if you would like to ask me a few. And we can have a little discussion about what we just heard or, you know, something else, whatever. Yes, madame.
So, unfortunately, Metropolitan Opera's been getting some not so favorable essays written about it, especially the Wall Street Journal, Terry's show, as many people know about. So, what's your hope for the future?
I chose to make this big step in my life to come to this house because I love it and because I believe in it, obviously. So, with any institution of that caliber, that reputation, that history, that is carrying a lot of extraordinary baggage of success, of maybe moments not so successful, which is also normal and part of the thing. It carries also its challenges because we always in our art need to ask questions about why are we doing this, for whom, and how. And the essential question is more the why. Because challenges in any institution, so for example, now, yes, we would love to have houses more full. Okay, that's one of the challenges. But then you have to ask, why? What is the size of our theater compared to which kind of operas we do and all of this? I mean, I could talk about this for an hour, obviously, or more, 2 days. But the important thing now that I want to send as a message is that in any situation that is more like a crisis, there is an opportunity. I believe that what's happening, and for the knowledge I have of the house, which I have now since 2009, and before as someone who came as a just person in the audience, and with the talent I see in the house, and the dedication, whether it's every member of the chorus, every member of the orchestra, every member of the library, every member of the stage crew, everyone in every department, I mean the music staff, I see how people believe passionately about opera, and that gives me hope. I won't revolutionize anything. I will just come and try that everyone else, we come back to the why we do this. And that will inform, hopefully, the decisions we make in the future, so that the Metropolitan Opera House can remain the greatest opera house in the world. And that's... Yes? Hi.
My question for you, in the work that you do, how do you separate a good singer from a great singer? And what advice you can give to us young singers who are starting to work with maestros for the first time?
Well, no, it's a beautiful question. I think there are a lot of singers, and there are a lot of violinists, and a lot of flutists, and there's a lot, of everything in the world. What makes it, instead of saying good and great, let's talk about what makes it special. And what makes it special is to be true to yourself. As someone who, of course, has been through a lot of auditions, you have to, you sit through all these and they all sing Je veux vivre and all sing Je dis que rien ne m'épouvante, and and it's like one over another. And then someone tells you a story, tells her story or his story. Now it seems a bit vague, but what I mean by this is that, and that's what I want to get at as my advice, is in order to be really, truly personal, you have to be so prepared and so knowing more than the words, more than the notes, and more than the context. And it takes so much work, so detailed, in order to free yourself from it. And I still believe that in our craft, as musicians, as in many other areas, we tend to oppose the intellectual ones, the correct ones, and the creative ones who are out of the book or out of the ordinary or just, you know. And I think art's definition to me has to be when both the mind and the heart and the soul are aligned. So you can't skip one step. Of course, if you stay by the book, it's not special. But if you're only special and ignore the book, it is not also. And I think I can't stress enough that it really shows when someone arrives to the first rehearsal of anything, even a small role. You'll be given opportunities to do like this one line here. And I've seen, you would be surprised how many times I've seen young singers very talented and say, oh, it's only one line, and they arrive and they barely know it. How can we trust that this is going to be special when there's a full aria? So, I mean, I think the passionate work about going to operas, going to concerts, going to recitals, listening to chamber music, to symphonies, listening to organ music, read the history books that goes with the operas and all of this, and then your personality shines after this, right? Yes, sir.
I've seen hundreds of performances of Don Giovanni with many different casts, and more than any opera I know, it's never the same twice. I know in part it's the conductor and the production, but even with the same production, each time it's different. And I always wonder, in casting Don Giovanni opera, what values or wishes go into each role? Because let's just take Anna and Elvira.
Yeah.
If they're different personalities, the way they play off against each other and the Don entirely changes the opera. What would you want in casting?
Yeah, so it's a beautiful question because I think you're right that Don Giovanni does give, it's one of those operas that give this possibility, like this world, and this is, of course, all due to the absolute genius of Mozart, who, in my opinion, put maybe the most humanity in this music. And I should add that orchestrally, that's maybe an aside, but that also informs the question. Orchestrally, it is also a very different role than other operas. There is more that is led from the orchestra in this than other Mozart operas. Even Figaro, who is this absolute masterpiece, the orchestra sometimes does yap, pop, 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 pop for a long time. I'm not saying it's not good, but I'm saying that all the counterpoint, or just what we said at the beginning with the duets, you know, that the thought of Ottavio was carried for 2.5 bars after by the orchestra. So, back to the casting. I think the most important thing, and this is the challenge, is that you want in both Leporello and Giovanni and Elvira Anna. These are the main in terms of you want to have singers who ideally could almost be switchable. Does that say? Reversible. Interchangeable, thank you. I blame it on my Canadian accent. Switchable, that's a little, interchangeable, yeah, interchangeable. So, and this happened a lot of times, you know, that especially in the men's bar, and also in the women, but these two should actually also be able to really work in the entire process of the opera in opposite directions, especially in Elvira and Anna. So for example, my personal taste is to have an Anna which is slightly more, instead of being this dramatic, is slightly more dreamy. ethereal, I would say, almost. But of course, you know, orsai chi l'onore needs to, but it's a little bit like come scoglio in Così fan tutte. You don't want come scoglio, because that's actually, she pretends to be a rock. She is not. So it's the same with Anna. I think there should be this beauty and slight fragility that is a little more above. And then you have the Elvira that is constantly in the heart of things and in the turmoil. That's more my preference. But you could go completely the other way and there's a justification. So if you have two great singers in each of these roles and also in the men, this is why, because they know the part of each other, each other's parts and the opposite, they can play this and take charge at different times. And this is probably why you felt that in more performances live, you get this real difference. Because it really is like a couple without being a love couple. And you have to develop in the rehearsal process this complete unity. And I think probably this is, I get here that this is time. So thank you for your questions and see you later. Thank you.